government planned outlay of expenditure on education, higher education and school education in India?
That data is very tough to, because it comes under the government of India. It's not accessible. But
one question maybe lastly. Were you able to interview any of the personnel, the experts in this area?
yes, sir. I've taken the data from Jan Shikshan Sanstans. One of the like NSDC is there. Jan Shikshan Sanstans are also, like Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is there. Jan Shikshan Sanstans have various outlets in Delhi and NCR where they are giving vocational education with respect to the ITs, hardware, different vocational courses.
Yes.
With them I had certain.
And what was the sample, sir?
A different Jan Shikshan Sanstans, some were 136, not just in concern with this study that I have concerned, 136, because there are very less number of people waiting for
some different projects or different research.
Yes, sir. Not in particular.
Okay.
But as far as the Prisma state research is concerned, that itself bifurcated the data as ma'am asked, that all the papers have been through with that or no. So that data shows that it's only comes with the 4-flow statement which you drawn into that. So it's already clear that all the papers have gone through with all the statement which you have discussed in your paper according to Prisma research. It is basically include the transparency and the scientific merits of reported systematic review which she added into this
No,
paper.
my point was different. She added all the statements taken from the paper, but she did not talk about the limitations which have been given in the paper.
No,
So if scientifically, with the statistical tool, she can calculate the significance of these statements, I think so that can be an advancement to her research. That was my point. I'm not saying this is wrong.
No,
I'm saying
I'm not.
it will be improved further. That's my point.
I'm not saying this. I'm saying that Niyama shows in that flow chart, it already reflected that what are the limitations because it's a 4-flow statement of Prisma research technology that they are giving this statement at 27 article out of 40. I mean, whatever the article you are choosing, they come into that.
We're not talking about that. She excluded all those articles which were not relevant or might be not complete. But she took
the results.
She considered 46 articles. Now all these articles have been written with certain limitations. Whenever we write an article, we are not going to be comprehensive in terms of our studies, in terms of covering all the studies together. So we always have limitations when we write a paper. So when you are putting on a statement as conclusion, you are carrying forward the limitations too. So if somehow you can test it statistically, that can actually put the advancement to your research.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we can take a forward.
That is the first stage of meta-analysis that I was talking about.
That she already did in this.
No, meta-analysis नहीं है. Meta-analysis नहीं है. Prisma से आपने सिर्फ compile कर लिया वो statements को, but statistically अभी भी significant नहीं है.
And Neha, you know a lot of places where these all work is going on. Why don't you collect the primary data and do the work at the later? No.
This is only the
Literature review.
For the researcher, she collected the data. She said she collected the
My
data.
research and
So
collected
why don't you put that part that on primary data, the analytical representation should come, because all the you talk about the related to the steps or Pradhan Mantri Yojana.
And that primary data is more qualitative in nature, not quantitative. She is not trying to arrive at a quantitative conclusion.
This is just a review.
It's more of an understanding, trying
She
to
can extend it
understand.
further by saying the PhD thesis. Already she has considered.
More of an exploratory research.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Neha, for such an insightful paper presentation. Now I would like to invite Shamsher sir for reviewing, for sharing the review on the book, The Art of Dealing with People by Les Gilbert.
Good afternoon, everyone. This book is talking about only the common sense. Let me just tell you in the beginning. And what you will see here is also a common sense in the very nice worded statements. That's the prefix I want to give to this book. Can you go ahead?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please. So there are 11 chapters, and all 11 chapters are talking about different things. We'll go through each chapter one by one. So let's start with the first chapter. What it says, thinking creatively about human relations. How do we think about human relation in a manner we think for ourselves? So what it says, everyone wants two things, success and happiness. And the book says both the things are not dependent on us, it depends upon others. And how it is dependent on others? Because your success, your happiness is correlated with the other people. Why? Because you are not alone. You are the part of the society, you are the part of the team, you are part of the organization. So, what further it says, how to deal with the people, 80% of the success load is covered by any business. You will learn all these 85% of that thing through various theories, various research papers, various things. But if you want to know about 99%, then you have to learn how to deal with the other people. Let me repeat. Whatever success and other thing you want to achieve, 85% of that you can read and then you can discuss and implement it. But if you really want to have 99% success, then you have to learn how to deal with the other people. Then, as we know, it's basically a science and sometimes it is an art, you have to master it. Okay, so the real success and satisfaction come from getting along with the people. If you are the part of the team and if you are taking the team along with you, then only the real success will come. Next. So, what it further says, 90% people are not successful in their life. You know why? Because they fail to deal with successfully with the people. That means, please. Okay. So further it says, you need to find out how to deal with the people. And this is an art. You cannot apply a simple formula that speed is equal to this. No, you can't do that. So you have to have the art of that. So what it further says, the basic principles are same, but why the same thing is not repeated? Because each individual is unique. So you have to think about the individuals in a different manner. So again it says, influencing people is an art, you have to master it. There is no other way to do that. And who are not successful? Who are able to have the skill of acquiring and dealing with people. How you deal with the people, that is the, if you are able to acquire it, you can deal with people and you can just accept it. Next. Now, the most important things what we talk about is the ego. And most of us talk about ego in a negative sense. Whereas he is saying ego is not at all negative, it can be positive also. How it can be positive? Because the another author at her book says ego is divine power. Divine power, that means something given by the God to us. Now it's a spark. And how it is spark? If you are able to control your ego and if you are able to take the other's ego along with you, you can be successful. And you can accomplish great things. That means great success can be achieved when you are able to deal with the ego of other people. If we name the successful people, for example, Mahatma Gandhi, then Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, or all other people, what they actually deal with, they kept their ego aside and nurture the ego of the followers. Now, the present times, you can also think about what our Prime Minister says in various things. He understands what the people want, what is their requirement, and exactly the same thing he speaks. You can go through some of the his messages in the recently 2-3 days, and you can find out that. Get that. It's not. And another thing is why we should think that people are unique, because they are not machines. Unique things and standardization can be done only in the machines. IBM can make standardized frameworks, machines, etc., but no individual can be standardized. So we need to understand this basic difference. So there is another thing, everyone will try to defend his or her ego. That's very clear, that whosoever is smaller, bigger, or even at the highest level, they will try to defend their ego against all enemies. But what we need to do, we have to identify the enemies correctly and then plan how to defend ourselves against them. Next. So, while dealing with ego, we should keep 4 facts in mind. We all are egoists. We all. We are more interested in ourselves, and every person we want, they want to feel important, that they are important. Rest all may be important, may not be important, but we are important. Second, they want approval of others. Whatever action I am doing, whatever things I am doing, whatever things are being done, it must be approved by others. And how will it be approved by others? That's the question.
By appraise.
By?
Appraise.
Appraise. That is there for us. Okay. So, if we are in good terms with ourselves, that means if we are content, if we are self-satisfied, and if we have kept our ego aside, then we can talk about others in a better manner. Then we can look after them in a better manner. Next. So this ego hunger is universal. No.
Please continue.
So this ego hunger is universal and as natural as hunger for food, it will remain. As we are hungry for food, we are also hungry for the ego. So what we need to do? Ego needs respect, approval and sense of accomplishment. And when the self-esteem is high, you will find we are more cheerful, generous, tolerant and willing to listen to others' ideas. Whereas when we are low at self-esteem, we find troubles. We are almost find the threats in whatever the others are doing. That's another thing. That happens with the low self-esteem. So now look for the good things in others which can be praised. So if you want to satisfy someone else's ego, find out what good things are in them and take a moment, think of it and praise it. So help others to like themselves better so that their hunger for self-esteem is fulfilled. Next please. Now importance of making others feel important. As we were talking about ego, it's a further extension to the same concept. So there are so many millionaires human relations, but we don't realize what we actually possess. So we need to go deeper into ourselves and find out what actually we possess. And whatever we possess, we must be proud of that. And if we are proud of that, again I link it with a high self-esteem. If you have a high self-esteem, you will find out the good things in others also. So now we must use this wealth, which is what is the wealth? Our own qualities, and use it as much as possible. That means praise others as much as you can, because there is no dearth of this wealth. It's unending wealth. So we need to feel the other people recognize and acknowledge our importance, and that can happen only when we recognize their importance and we appreciate their efforts. So no person can maintain his dignity or worth if everyone start thinking that that person is useless. So again I link it with self-esteem. So you should ensure that your self-esteem is high and nobody is thinking about you as useless. That's the important take. Next. So when we talk about dissatisfaction, what are the primary causes? You work so much but don't get the credit, and you have certain grievances, there is no redressal, and there is no one to encourage your job, and you are being criticized in front of others. This is one of the very important human relation mechanism, that praise in front of others, criticize in individuality. That's one of the important principles we all should keep in mind. And failure to ask other workers of their opinion about the work, and then failure to inform of their progress. And last is favoritism.
So is this written in the book?
Yes,
Or-
it is there in the book.
Okay, so these 7 qualities.
All 7 are there. Next.
Self-discontainment जैसा कुछ नहीं लिखा है इन्होंने?
अभी आगे आएगा। तीन important
क्योंकि ये सारे बाहर वाला ingredient है।
तीन important points और
Because there
आएंगे।
is something which actually the guilt, self-guilt, that is the biggest cause for the satisfaction.
So 4 ways to make other feel important. What? Think other people are essential. That means give them their due respect and due praise. Second is notice the people. When we say notice the people, that means you start finding out what good things they are doing and start recognizing them. Do not compete with the people. In this sense, I will say that do not compare one individual with the other individuals. Though he says do not compete, but I am saying do not compare. Why do not compare? Because each individual is unique. It has certain strength, it has strength weakness, it has certain quality which may not be others having that. And know when to correct others. It's not that you keep on correcting each one every time, every now and then. You must know what is the appropriate time to correct that person. And giving correction is as important as finding the right time to give that corrections. Next. Controlling the actions and attitude of others. If you link the first slide, you can have success and happiness only when you learn how to deal with the others. So this is dealing with that. So we try to influence the actions of others. Can we do that? Answer may be yes, answer may not be yes. So if the answer is yes, that means we must possess certain qualities which the others give the value, and then only you can influence. So we have to adopt the attitude that others want us to adopt. Or you can say put yourself in the shoe of others and then see what they actually think about it. Next is you will find our own attitude is reflected back to us in certain manners. That manners can be explicitly stated or may not be explicitly stated, or it may be through the grapevines. Okay. So when we smile, we look at the others also. It's like the mirror. If you are smiling, if you are giving a smile, others will also give a smile. That means your frequency is matching with them. They are with you. Next, just as we can make people enthusiastic, we can give people confidence in us. That whatever the matter, whatever things you are bringing here, that will be heard, that will be taken care of, the action will be done according to that. So, and this confidence can come only when we start believing in ourselves.